So right now I am at the MVA with this supporting star. I'm getting ready to take my, what am I getting ready to take?
School home.
Because I don't know what I'm taking. I'm taking my learner's permit for my CDL. Do I think I'm going to pass it? Yes. Do you think I'm going to pass it?
Of course.
That was very sarcastic, which is why I'm going to pass it.
Aww.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Yes, so as you can see, I did not pass the first time. I was not ready. I did not study as well as I should have. I mean, heck, I didn't even know what I was there for. I mean, I did, but I forgot because, again, I wasn't focused. This is definitely something that I was able to learn from because it's time consuming, it's a lot of work, and it should not be taken lightly. Not at all. I had already done my physical, so I didn't need to redo anything for my physical. Yes, you do need to be clean. Your blood and your urine needs to be clean in order to pass your physical. This is a CDL license. This is not a regular license. They can't trust you with thousands of dollars of cargo if, you're a little lit. So they want to make sure that the people that they hire, the people that they give permission to drive these 18-wheelers are sober and are clean, just for the safety of themselves and others. So the first time that I went in, I wasn't ready, but I definitely studied for 2.5, 3 weeks probably. In between there was the holidays, so I wasn't really studying for that. I wasn't really studying around Christmas or New Year because we were traveling, so I wasn't really focused on the studies. But altogether, from the time that I signed up for school until I got my permit, it was 2 weeks, including the holidays. So I was able to get my permit the beginning of January, like the second week of January. And then from there, I started classes a couple days, like literally a couple days after. Oh my God. I just finished my first class, my first driving class. Oh my God. I just passed my test Monday and today is Wednesday. So I was able to schedule something as soon as possible. It was so scary. I had to do my pre-trip inspection, and I'll go over that a little bit later on, but I don't know. I've been in a truck, but I never had to worry about like how the truck is working and what anything means. But today was scary, and there are a couple people here. There's a couple companies that are doing classes. My class was about an hour and 20 minutes. It was great. My instructor Luis, went over the in-cab pre-trip inspection. I then did it myself. It was scary. There's so many things to remember on the truck. Oh man, it was fun. It was nerve-wracking, but I had a lot of fun. Once I started driving classes, most of it was pretty much learning the pre-trip and the pre-trip inspection in Maryland. For the test, you have the pre-trip inspection, you have some skills, and then you have the road test. From learning online, I was expecting that there's this thing about the pre-trip where if you get as many points, or at least if you don't lose any points, then really you don't you're cut off once you're done with the maximum amount of points that you need to pass. It wasn't the case for me. I did the whole pre-trip, inside and outside. I did the front, the back, the middle, all of it underneath. I did the whole pre-trip. So that was my test. And then my skills, I was kind of freaking out for the parallel. I was studying, I was practicing the whole time for my parallel parking, but when it came to that test, I was freaking out, and the lady was like, you know, you're good. Like, she stopped me because I was already inside the allotted space, and she was like, you're good. And then I was like, okay. She was like, just get out without touching any cones. And I was like, that I can do. So as soon as that happened, I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't need, I knew I had the road test. I was expecting it. So I'm happy that my school prepared me for that. The school altogether, from the time that I signed up for the school till my test, it was exactly 2 months. I, unlike a lot of people who take their CDL driving test, I passed on my first try, to much surprise of many people. I was a little bit surprised. I wasn't surprised just because I was just ready to get it over with. It's just that I was surprised of how well I did, because if you guys see, the first time that I did my pre-trip, I was so lost. My first class, I was like, what? The what? My gears and my gauges? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I was so lost. I didn't know anything about it. Like, and it was just the scariest thing. And I had so many people like teaching me, both online, my instructor, my husband. So it was a little bit scary. But looking back, I'm like, dang, I really did that. Yes. So yeah, that was in 2 months. I studied the pre-trip. They can't really do anything else until you get the pre-trip, because just like at the test, if you don't pass your pre-trip, then you don't go and do your skills, and you don't go and do your road tests. So that's definitely something that they really drill you on. Any school that you go, I believe, because I've seen from other people, like, if you don't have the pre-trip down, then they don't really take you anywhere else. If they see that you're getting it, then maybe they'll try and get you in. They'll get you into the skills, and depending on the state, I guess there are like different skills. You still have the backing and the straight backing and the offset, but then I heard that you can choose, or not choose, but it can either be the parallel parking or like the dock parking. I didn't realize that there were some DMVs that had dock parking tests, so I didn't do that. Literally the day before, or maybe like a couple days before, when I was having my last practices, a couple days before, my truck actually had a leak. The trailer air brakes were leaking, so I wasn't able to study any of my skills. And then the day before my test, I was fine. Like, they called me in because I was like, you guys, I need practice. Like, you can't send me without practicing my skills. Like, I need practice before my test. So the day before, they called me in to do my skills, and I did well. And I randomly asked, like, oh, are there any questions that they ask? And they were like, yeah, they can ask you one or the other. And it was, what do you do at a railroad crossing? And then what do you do in case of an emergency? So they went through those steps with me. And I'm glad that I asked that, because they weren't about to tell me. And that would have been bad, because she actually asked me both. So right before we got on the road, she was like, oh, like, let's say like this is a railroad crossing. What would you do here? And I was like, I know this. So I explained, and I played it out. And then she's like, okay, good. So we're going to go. So then after that, we're driving. And then on one of the roads, we made a right turn. And then she was like, okay, here you will act as if you have an emergency. So what are the steps? What would you do? So I showed her again. And then I also passed that. Thank God. And then once we got on the highway, because yes, in Montgomery County, at least where I was, because I want to say in Maryland, but it's not just in Maryland, because Alex took his test in Baltimore and he didn't have to go on the highway. I took my test in Gaithersburg, and I had to go on the highway. And even when I told him before that, I was like, yeah, like we went on the highway and all that. And he's like, oh, you won't need to go on the highway for your test. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I asked my instructor and I was like, so like, why do we go on the highway? I thought we were doing the route. And he's like, yeah, you go on the highway for your test. And I was like, what? So I was prepared for that too. I'm really thankful for my school because they really prepared me for the test. Like, it's like they've had so many students that, at least in our area, they've had so many students that they know what to expect. They know where to go, all that. So I was really, really thankful for that. But like, he was like, Alex was pretty surprised because every time that I do something, like I always fail once and then I go back and like study for real and then I go again. The people at my school were super surprised. It was hilarious. It wasn't hilarious. It was just like, yeah, I passed. The owner of the school was like, you realize that not everyone like passes on the first try like that. And I was like, yeah, I'm a G. But it definitely, it was a lot of work. As you guys saw, like mid-January, Alex and I drove all the way to Chicago to train some more because I wasn't getting enough classes, and that actually helped me out, the training with Alex, because it was really intense. It was really cold, but I was able to study nonstop. And then I got some practice with the tractor. It was a different tractor. Like, I think the one that I was studying like on was like International or something. And then the one that we were here at, I think was like a Volvo. Not really sure. I'm still not familiar with all the truck brands and like makes and models. But yeah, it was definitely, it was hard. And then like pretty much the month of February, I was good, I think. Like I started doing the driving like 2 weeks before my test. So I went on the road for the first time. Let's say my test was on Friday. My test was on Friday. I went on the road for the first time the Monday of the week prior, or like the Friday of 2 weeks before. So I had enough classes on the road, and then some issues with the truck. I ended up like studying my pre-trip because I had forgotten a lot about it because I was focusing on skills. But altogether, the studying, the schooling, and my license, I did it from start to finish. The real studying after I failed the first time. It was from 21st of December to the 21st of February. So with some vacation in between. So I'm super proud of myself. If I can do it, little old chef me, I'm sure that anyone who puts their mind to it will do it also. It's so scary and it's hard at first, but if you work hard, if you study, if you practice, and if you go above and beyond, if you really want it, then you can get it. So I'm very proud of myself. I'm very thankful for all my teachers, including my beautiful husband. He wasn't as patient as my teachers because he wasn't getting paid, but I had a good time. I really did. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that you are updated anytime that we drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the road.